All right, so welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin.
I'm Tarsha.
Ooh. And this is Conversations with the Crawleys, where we have conversations about faith, family, relationships, recaps, reviews, and commentary on some of our favorite shows. And this is all about the latest episode of Ready to Love Season 5 DC Edition. Really, it's like PG County.
It's not PG
Virginia.
County. Maryland.
Maryland, yeah. All right, so if this is content that you enjoy, of course, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like, request notifications.
And share.
And we will see you in the comments. Listen, y'all, we are, I think, as of this video, we're like 11 away from our goal of 1,000. So you guys that have come on board, you've been amazing. If you didn't know, we're running a contest. Once we get to 1,000 subscribers, we're going to choose one lucky subscriber who will win an Amazon gift card from Conversations with the Crawleys.
They try to get it for Christmas. I can feel it. That's why we're so close.
All right. Make it happen. All right. So, again, we appreciate each and every one of y'all. And let's jump into it. This one, we pick up with the cliffhanger from last episode.
Feel that long ago?
Yeah. Lots happened in a week. So,
lots.
But
over a weekend.
True. So we left off with Naeem and Cornelius on the chopping block.
Yes.
And Camille. Listen.
You were going to go. I don't know why she was crying. It's like she knew she was going with them. So what are the tears for? I don't understand. She left with them. Let's get to the point. She left with them.
Right. She trying to get a job as an extra in a Tyler Perry movie. That's where her acting skills are for an extra. She over the top. She might even do a Tyler Perry stage play.
Did you see his eyes, though? Because we know he was going to get eliminated. Let's just hit to the chase, right?
Yes.
So when she tells Cornelius, I'm going to go ahead and eliminate myself. You see his eyes kind of get a little big. Like, I thought I was going to leave you here so I could go on with my life.
You mean I got to go home with you in the car? I can't leave you here and have somebody else give you a ride home?
Oh, and then he say, are you sure? Did he say that? It was like, you sure now? There's a lot of chocolate brothers here still. You sure?
And then, she was talking about how, they come back, be married, and have kids. He's like, whoa, slow down.
I feel bad that Cornelius gave her the address to his place. He should have had the ex-girlfriend and him go to some other location. She knows where he lives.
Cornelius, find you a mortgage company that closes quick. Find you a new place. Close and don't tell her where you at. Don't even forward your mail to the new place. Forward it to like 3 different places.
3 different places.
Forward it to a place in PG County. Forward it to another, and then forward that to a place in Bethesda, and then forward that to like what's that?
Montgomery County,
and then actually go to Woodbridge, Virginia. That's what you need to do. That way you can kind of throw her off the scent and off the trail. So yes, Camille goes home, self-eliminates with Cornelius. Naeem lives to stay around another day, right? And we've talked about how it'd be best if you found that person and you know that there's no other connection. So I give Camille credit for not being just on the show to win, but self-eliminating. She had no other. That was if Cornelius went home week 2, she'd have probably been gone because
she felt like she had a good connection with him.
Well, we'll see.
She felt it. I'm saying from her perspective.
We'll see at reunion.
She felt it.
We'll see what happens at reunion.
That would be very fun.
Reunion's gonna be interesting.
Oh, it's gonna be really interesting.
So
really interesting. I want to hear.
Yeah.
All the stories.
Because Tommy gonna ask the questions. Okay, so exactly when did she put the tracking chip in you?
It's in his necklace.
No, she had one before that. That's just in case, the
other one failed.
The one failed. She got a backup.
She got a couple places she don't put on them.
She gonna put it in his shoes. She gonna put it wherever she can.
Oh my gosh.
So still at the resort
Yes.
after the elimination, Phil and Shiloh, who I do like as a couple.
I mean, great. Well, they seem very as great people. They're having great conversation. And here's Shiloh. I think Shiloh's learning every intimacy coach idea there is, and that could help you and not, because you want it to feel organic,
Right?
And not mechanical.
I think that's the thing,
and I think that's what he's getting at with the question, saying that could be a little annoying.
I think he is. It's like, for us, we were, for example, just put it because we're pastors, right? We have a relationship that goes beyond our pastoring. So I don't pastor her; she doesn't pastor me.
Mm-hmm.
We still have, if we're going through something, we still trying to use that, have counsel and wisdom, what have you. But I think what I sense from Phil is like, I feel like I'm being, I'm in therapy almost, or I'm being, I'm being coached in my relationship, and he wants it to grow organically, right?
Right.
So she has the tools and resources. I think she has to, in some respects, get out of this mode of this is what I do as a 9 to 5, right? As my business, as my passion. Right. And now let me just, yes, I use some of those skills, but I don't have to let him know, all right, so now we're going to do the love language card game.
Right.
Right. So just more organic, I think, is the thing.
Right. And those things, when you're trying to get to know people, and why couldn't it be like a group night?
That's good.
Hey guys, I brought my box of questions, couple questions, so she can still get the answers she wants,
but in a roundabout
way. But also other people benefit from it, and it can be fun.
Right.
It can be lighthearted.
And Phil doesn't need to feel like he's put on the spot.
Right.
Because he does, she comes up and basically says that she really cares for him. She really likes him. And, there was a question as far as what are some things that you want from me? And that's kind of Phil's question to Shiloh. And she was like, the big gestures. I want more of those things that really make me feel secure, if I can put it in my own terms.
Right.
Of as far as the relationship. So, and so he kisses her, but then it was like, all right, we're done.
He was trying to find a way to confirm her without using words that could trap him,
right,
in confirming that.
Yes.
And again, that could be a mechanism that people use all the time. What? You don't think I like you? Okay, me kissing you. Well, again, it's just like that kiss on the cheek.
Was it on the cheek? No, it was on the forehead.
It was on the forehead, yes. On Ready to Love last season.
The resort edition.
Yes. So you go, what was that? I felt like more of a friend,
right,
or it wasn't the right position where it felt intimate.
Right.
It was more like, oh, okay, you need me to show it? Okay, I'm gonna show it.
Exactly.
And so
he said that he likes her, but he does not want to commit. He didn't want to lock himself in.
Not yet. That's what he said.
This point, right.
Because he got something spicy on the other end.
Yeah, I don't know about spicy. I don't know if I would call Sydney spicy. All right, but then Dante, he is really connecting with Aisha.
Okay.
You were the girl I never had. I'm going to say that every time. But yes, he was connecting with Aisha.
That is his massaging table. I told you.
Yeah,
I know a pro when I see a pro. This brother, man.
A professional masseuse. Let's make it
clear. That's what I'm talking about.
You say a pro, there's some other connotation that comes in there.
Okay, I'm so sorry, listeners. I'm talking about masseuse. I get massages, real massages.
So, but yeah, they had a good connection. It came along late, and as far yes, but this was their first time they had to
physically be
in person connect, right?
Right.
So that's what I mean. It came along late, right? But it seems to be a connection that is growing and has lots of potential.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
And he even, again, she was about to get into the, taking off her earrings and putting on the Vaseline, talking about Zadia, but he was like, look, we gonna let that stay in the past. Let's go ahead and
let's move forward.
And that's a good thing for him and for her, really, just to have somebody that recognizes what your trigger might be, but then also knows how to bring you back from that moment back into let's focus on us and leave those other knuckleheads where they are.
Exactly.
Frank and Mumin go on a date, and he decides he wants to be the DC tour guide because they go to the National Mall, and he's like, Martin Luther King was right over there, and they did this.
He wanted them to reflect.
Yes.
Because they were at the reflection pool.
Well.
So I mean, the gesture is sweet, right?
Yes.
You know, he really wants to really feel this out. If this is the direction he wants to go in, you know, I think for Frank, where you can have Sydney, the party girl that can party with you, or are you trying to grow in a space where you're saying, well, I can't do this forever.
Right.
And that's what I kind of hearing from Frank. Maybe I can't do this forever, and I might be ready really to find someone that's going to settle me down a little bit. So it's interesting, but they seem like they had a very great date.
Yeah, because he has 2 different women.
Totally.
You know, you have Sydney, who I think is just from what we can see and kind of the feeling I get from her, is still in the party life and is very content to be in the party life. Whereas Mumin does not appear to be in the party life. She's a little more grounded. So he's got to make a decision on, you're right, which one is going to be a better fit for him, not only where he is, but where he's wanting to go.
Right.
And he did make a great gesture. He gave her when they first connected at the putt golf, miniature golf, and so he basically stole one of the balls.
He did.
And he took one of the golf balls and put their date, the date of their first date, on it. So really good gesture.
Yeah. Really
something that she was like, okay, he's present, he's paying attention.
Right.
So
right.
Then Zadia and Dante.
Ooh, boy.
Listen, buckle your seatbelts.
Where there's smoke, there's
fire.
So
she does start off saying that she was high strung for the date, right?
Yes. She already came in like guns a-blazing instead of being open to hear what he had to say about the weekend, you know, because a lot went on, right?
Right.
And then she gets there and he's like, so how you feeling? And she like,
Yeah, I mean, she came in with attitude, right? She came in just with her guard up, her defenses up, ready to fight, really.
Right.
She said that she felt abandoned, she felt uncovered and unprotected, and basically because she was not expecting for Aisha to say that she had a connection with Dante, and he was like, I don't know if you know this, but on this show, we dating a lot of people. We trying to connect with who we can connect with. I can't control what she say.
Right.
Just like you don't know what I've heard at the table with the men.
Right.
And I didn't come at you saying I was caught off guard and unprotected and this and that. So he's like, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. But I think what she's getting at, just trying to
play devil's advocate.
Yeah, I'm playing devil's advocate.
Don't play devil.
Don't play devil.
Right.
But if she's saying, why don't you keep it PG so that everyone's on the same playing field as about, you know, kissing, touchy, because I'm not really kissing anyone. I'm keeping it PG until I find out who I want to settle with.
Right.
But when you start rubbing on people's back and backsides and stuff, and you're rubbing them down, then it already sounds like you've already made a decision.
Listen.
And so she's like, you could have called me, you know, you could have told me afterwards, but it's like, oh, so there'll be another fight at the resort if I did it then.
Right.
But let's be honest. So they deliberate. They still had time afterwards. You could have talked to him at any time.
Yep.
Hey, Dante, can I pull you aside?
Yep.
I just heard yesterday.
Or a couple hours ago. A few moments ago,
that yesterday that you gave so-and-so a massage.
Yep.
Where am I? Blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Da, 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 da.
Yep.
But you decided that you're going to fester over it. and ponder on it, and then you're going to get here out in public
Right.
and go at it.
Right. Because he said, he's like, I'm not going to keep knocking on the door trying to get in and you're not letting me in. I'm not going to keep doing that. And she's like, so what does that mean? Well, I'm feeling Aisha now. That's where my attention is going.
Right. Because
you didn't give me the signs to let me know that you were allowing me in further.
Right.
Because I think that's the thing that, what was said about Zadia and Naeem. So it sounds like Zadia is surface, period. Because we saw where it seemed like with Zadia and Naeem, it was surface. And so Dante is like, I never really got deep with you. Sounds like Zadia has a problem with getting beyond the surface or allowing people beyond the surface.
Because she's been hurt in the past. And people who have been hurt in the past are insecure. They're not going to go beyond the surface.
Yep.
It's hard for them to open up to someone, which all this makes sense. Again, it all leads down the same pathway.
Yep.
So for her, not taking in what he said, and at least taking a moment to like, oh, so where did I didn't show my attention?
Right.
Because she had to do a circle around the restaurant, come back.
Yeah. Because
just tell them, well, you were my number one choice, and I was going to pick you.
Yeah.
Well, whoa, woo. He just said you never showed it.
Right.
I was pursuing you, and the door was dead bolted. It was all locked up, security, lasers. I mean, I couldn't get in to the vault. I had no combination. And so at that moment, she said, okay, well, she should have said, well, show me where I didn't let you in.
Right.
And how can we move forward and do better?
Right. Because if she had said something along the lines of, this is where I was letting you in, and he could say, okay, I didn't perceive it that way. They could have an adult conversation.
And it was all about communicating.
So he basically, he says he's feeling Aisha. She walks away. He's like, okay, cool.
Okay.
Let me go ahead. Can I get another glass of wine?
I'm about to eat.
I'm eating my vegan risotto.
I might drink her wine. It's expensive, but she makes that circle back around, and then she puts her hands on him. I don't care where you put your hands on. Don't put your hands on any part of anybody else's in now this is where I say an aggressive manner, because you're mad, you're blowing in my face.
Big mad.
Right, big mad.
She big mad.
You're blowing in my face and you're touching me. So, thank God.
So yes, let's applaud Dante.
God, that he is not a very expressive person. Also, because somebody else would slap the hand out her face and start pointing fingers and want to touch somebody too, but decided not to.
Right. And
so, how embarrassing is that? I would never want anyone to be publicly putting hands on me in public.
Yeah.
So I think that was a very big disappointing moment. Then I was like, oh, this is what we're doing?
Because, putting hands in the face is an issue, right?
Yeah.
I also have an issue with some of her language and words.
Yeah.
Where she was,
she's degrading.
She's very degrading, very condescending, very insulting,
Did the same thing when I used, well, you take her, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, come on.
So to me, there's some insecurities there. There's some,
needs to mature.
Yeah.
She needs to get out of college.
Yes.
Like I told you before, she give me college vibe, that girl on college vibe. She don't, sorry for those who pledge, but it's just kind of give me those college girl vibes.
Right.
Like she never left college.
Right.
She's still fighting,
Right.
And I'm like, it's not necessary.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
All right. So enough about Zadia and Dante.
Yeah.
Because listen, again, I applaud Dante for handling it the way he did. He stayed cool, calm, and collected. Even when he was getting poked in the nose.
When he was getting poked. You talking about poking bear? And poking. He's like,
and interrupting his risotto, because the risotto looked good too. Good. Sabrina and Walter go on a date.
Yes.
And Walter is basically like after Mumin walked off on him at the pool, at the resort or whatever. He's like, yeah, I'm sold on Sabrina. The problem is, though, is that Sabrina is now looking and saying, am I kind of the leftover? That am I now winning by default?
Right. It's a good question.
It's a very good question.
I mean, and that's being very self-aware.
Yes.
And I would have proposed it. I would put it in front of him. Now that you're seeming to get a little deeper and you've been very transparent about your lives, this is a very good time to ask that question and see what the response is.
Right.
You know, because it wouldn't hurt anything to ask because you're right fresh in the moment.
Right.
Now, when he's trying to figure out, like, have I seen her dance? Or he's like, have I seen you dance?
Have you seen her?
And I would circle back around. You know, I was like, she kind of shares more about being 18 and leaving the house.
Into being a dancer.
How she got into a dancer. And she said it helped her to build her self-confidence during that time period that she was dancing.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's lingering in the back of his mind for some reason.
And I'm curious why it's an issue.
Well, I mean, isn't it for some men's? Is it only an issue because if she was currently doing it, and it shouldn't be an issue since it's very far in her past? Because she was like 18, so she said she did it for 10 years. So she stopped at 28. Now she's in her 40s.
Right. So you were talking. What, you know, because
20 years.
Listen, when I was in college, when I was down in Atlanta going to school, there was classmates of mine who were dancing at local clubs, right, to make money for school tuition, what have you, right? So I don't know that, you know, let's say that you and I weren't together and I was dating someone. I don't know that I would hold it against them that they dated, or excuse me, that they danced 15 years ago.
I wouldn't hold it against someone if
I dated them. To me, it's who they were, and it's not like it's, you know, if I understand the circumstances, understand what it was, and who I'm more concerned with who I'm engaging with now.
Right.
So that's why I'm little unclear about why Walter seems to have an issue, and even when he brought it to the table with the other guys, it was kind of like this, and it's like, okay. She's not saying that she's doing it right now.
Right.
It's in her past.
It's in her past.
What does it have to do with where she is now and where you guys are going in the future?
Right. And he makes a comment, and I think I would have asked him to explain why he decided to make that comment of all comments, because he said, "You look like a madam."
Yeah.
You look like a madam. And she said, well, you know, I used to be an exotic dancer. But she looked very polished. You know, like her outfit and everything. It wasn't over-revealing or anything. So at first I'd be like, well, what do you know about madams? And why do you think I look like a madam?
Right.
What does that have to do with, do you think because and I'd be like, do you think because I dance? Do you think I sew my body along with dancing?
Right.
Because that's a lot of the portrayal that you're loose or whatever. So I would want to, like, you know, since you're mentioning it,
right,
you know, where are you at? Do you feel like that's going to be a barrier for you?
Right.
Because she felt it was necessary. She might even didn't need to tell him, like, even right now, you know, it's pretty early in the process.
Right.
But she felt like it was necessary. So I just don't see, it's so far gone.
Right.
But, you know, you can't hold people to their past, you know. But the same thing you think about Dante. He got 3 baby mamas, and they're not going anywhere.
Right.
They are currently in his now and his present future until
the last one turns 18, until each child turns 18, right?
And you said,
and even then, let's just be honest, there's college, there's still
they're still gonna have some run-ins. If you have grandbabies, I might have to drop it at grandma's house, which I'm gonna intersect. You're gonna intersect with this person somewhere majority of their life.
Yeah. Not
all the time, but there's gonna be moments you're gonna run into this person.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I don't get it, but. Hey. If you all have any thoughts, because I'm curious.
Yeah.
If you have any thoughts.
Is it just the standard typical or what I'm trying to say,
I don't know what you're trying to say.
stereotypical.
Oh, okay.
There we go. I'm getting it out. Stereotypical, feelings concerning it.
Yeah.
But it's 20 years.
Help us understand,
Help
because
us.
I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then Phil
And he likes to have sex. So to me, you would think that would be more of a turn on because you love to have sex than for you to feel like.
Listen, what? Want to get you listen, if y'all work out,
get you a
pole in your bedroom.
Can I get you out of retirement? That's the things I would be saying.
Listen, pull out the Monopoly money.
Right.
You can reminisce all y'all want
right.
to.
So that's another thing. And this is always throws me. It's like, oh, so he can be sexual, but she can't be sexual? I'm just like, I'm thrown. Okay.
And Sabrina, listen, do you a pole fitness class.
Pole fitness class.
Teach it, make some extra money that way. If that, do it. So
interesting.
Yeah, I don't get it, but let us know. Phil and Sydney go on a date.
Being tighter.
Yeah.
It's a setup. Now you want to talk about people being set up? I feel, yes. I think they just need to be honest. I'm sexually attracted to you. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Not at all.
But they did mention, both of them mentioned, well, we do need to go deeper. Deeper doesn't mean you sitting closer and putting your tongue in my throat. Deeper means we need to be talking more about what connects us.
Yep.
Because I'm afraid with Phil that he's going to end up with a toy than ending up with a relationship.
Are you calling Sydney a toy?
I'm just saying, because what he did say about, he throw me off. What's his name? What's her name?
Shiloh?
Shiloh is that she's challenging me.
Yes.
She's making me think. So when a man feels challenged, there's two things. Either
he's up for the challenge.
He's up for the challenge and he wants to grow.
Or he still wants to go play some games.
Or he wants to still play some games and he's like, I'm not ready for this. I can't handle this. Moving and maturing in a relationship and finding out who you are.
Listen, we giving y'all free game right now. Listen, if a man is up for the challenge, he's gonna stick around.
That's what he wants.
He wants the challenge. He wants to figure.
He wants the challenge to figure out.
We are, you've heard it. We are hunters, right? We pursue.
Amen.
So if I'm in a pursuit mode, I'm going to, as far as men, yes, I'm going to pursue and I'm going to take that challenge. But if I'm just about, listen, what I can get right now and going for the easy thing, then yeah, I'll play with it for a little while. And then when I'm done, I'll go find the challenge.
And then it goes on to the next, right? Until you're like, okay, I'm ready for the challenge. I want to take it on. I want to see how I can grow. I want to see how I can be a better person in my relationship. And when someone's pulling on you to do that and you ain't ready, you'll run or find something to run to. So, yeah.
So yeah, I'm not a fan of Phil and Sydney as a couple, but we'll talk about a little more about that in a moment. But they all get to the guys get to the lounge now at the Watergate Hotel.
Yeah.
And Tommy is like, look, I invited y'all here, but don't y'all come on your own. Don't come invited. This is my spot. When I'm in DC, stay your behinds out in PG County. Stay your behind out in Bethesda, wherever else. Don't come here. Go to Temple Hills.
Temple Hills.
All right. And Frank starts spilling beans.
Frank talks. So this weekend, it popped off. And I'm just saying, so-and-so and so-and-so.
And Tommy's like, all right, tell me who. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
But Frank is like, yeah, Zadio was about to go upside somebody's head. Aisha was getting attacked and bullied. And
it's the brown girls.
Yeah. And Tommy again, because that is something that, because I don't take it as it was a colorism thing like we had in a previous season, right? I don't take them saying brown skin girls clique or whatever, club, whatever. I didn't take it as a brown versus light, because let's just be honest, most of what was still there is brown skin that wasn't considered part of their clique, because Aisha herself is brown skin.
Yeah, she's still lighter than them in complexion, but I feel like it's it's subconscious because again, I feel like it's something that they've learned in college. It's something that is prevalent in college, right? Especially if you go to a HBCU. So how do we start dividing our between ourselves, right? We're all the same shades. So now we have to say, okay, how do we put in classism and all these other things? Because it finds our human self find ways to separate us to make us higher than what we are.
Right.
So we know with Zadia, she likes to have to, everyone needs to be under her. She puts people down. So this could be just another thing of putting people down.
Oh yeah.
So that's how I'm playing it out at the end of the day.
So they start talking and they going around, they're kind of saying who they're feeling, right? And so we've gotten kind of solidified on a lot of things, right?
Pretty much. I feel.
You have Frank, who is torn between Mumin and Sydney. You have Phil, who is torn between Sydney and Shiloh. You have Dante, who is like, yeah, I'm not torn. I'm going for Aisha.
Right.
Walter has said he's going solely for Sabrina.
Right. So that's already two relationships.
Yep. And then you have Naeem, who says he's stuck on Zadia. So then they start talking about, well, who you not feeling? Who do you not mind not going home? And of course, Dante starts to let loose, or not let loose, but he begins to discuss about the interaction with Zadia.
How she came for him.
And the other brothers are like, yeah, that's a problem, bruh.
You saw Frank's like, he's like, yeah, like he doesn't care for her.
And Naeem was like, I don't see nothing wrong. I'm good.
If she leaves, then I'm moving out. I'd be like, dude, no. No. Anyone, I don't care. Now, you might be a little bit more passive. And if you're more passive, then yeah, you don't have anything aggressively coming towards you.
Right.
Because you're not making any stands and you ain't ruffling any feathers.
Right. And you ain't challenging her.
Right.
So, because even Tommy brings up, he basically is like, well, you don't see no problems with that. And he's like, you have to think down the road, because let's just be honest. If she does it to Dante in this short period of time, let's say that Zadia and Naeem were to continue and go forward. What's to say that now that she has feelings invested in him, 9 months from now, what's to say that she won't do that then?
Right.
So I'm not saying that this is a pattern or thing for her where this is what she does to men.
Right.
However, you have to think, if this is how she responds to a man who she's only been connected with for, let's say, 10 weeks, right? We don't know where they are as far as how many weeks they are in. But let's say 10 weeks. We're talking 2.5 months that she's now responding to this man in this way.
Right.
We've been married 25 years and we don't get that heated.
I have never put my hands on you, on your face, and then tell you off. We've had some arguments. We've had some disagreements, but never to that point. So then that tells me that there's something that is a potential for her to do, period. But this is the thing. Is he thinking that way because he's a man? And this is where we talked about last week, when a lot of times we don't bring up that men have been abused by women. And so what if it was reverse? What if there was a man that was in a woman's face and putting his finger on her nose, bearing over her and telling her, you were, but you're not no more? I would think then there would have been a more outcry from him, thinking that, a man shouldn't do that to a woman.
From Naeem? Yes. But I think that, and here's the thing, I think that we have to look also that all of those guys saw the problem. Well, not all, but most of the guys saw the problem with Cornelius and Camille. They're like, that's a red flag. But if that's his situation, but I wouldn't do that.
Right.
Dante was basically like, that's on him, but that couldn't be me.
Right.
So I think with Zadia, the guys are looking like, that's a problem. Better be glad it wasn't me.
Right.
Naeem is like, well, that's his problem.
Right.
So I think it really, it boils down to, I think Naeem is a different kind of guy than what we see also as far as the other guys that are there at the table.
Right.
And
he wanted to stay.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, is that it was his desire to stay overriding his judgment of, that's a problem.
Right.
So.
Right. But again, when you eliminate, you don't have to stay. I was like, there's no more taping, right? There's no more you have to show up. I know we all want to be a part of something and be a part of a group. So I get like losing the time you get to spend with the fellas and talking about the process. But at the same time, you have to make the decision that I'm going to have to move on because there's no one else. Because he did the same thing that a lot of people do. They put all their eggs in one basket and they lose out, you know, because he made a Sydney comment about Sydney. Oh, I just didn't like her voice. Okay. If that's not
and I agree with you. I don't like her voice either. But I agree. But there was more than just Sydney sitting there also.
Right. So why didn't you connect with all the other women? So, but they said that he didn't open up.
Right.
He was surfacey. So
we have in the bottom, we have Mumin and we have Zadia. So Walter meets up with Mumin, and Mumin comes with her boxing gloves on because she's ready to go to war too. Basically, you know, she's again saying how she felt like Sabrina was poisoning him and all this stuff. And he's like, but you walked off on me.
Right. When I wanted to really have a conversation about this.
We talking.
And you like, bye.
You walking.
Yep.
And I called it because remember last week when when Mumin, the scene where Mumin came up to when Walter and Sabrina were on the piano in the piano room, and Mumin was kind of putting her hands on him and and trying to be affectionate, what have you, and he was like, he said he felt like it was a setup, right? Because what I said last week, and this is what I get from that, is that it felt like she was trying to stake her claim and mark her territory. And he's like, it was a setup. It's not like that's what you just genuinely felt to do. He said it felt like you were setting me up, right? So they did have a good talk to at least resolve some issues between them.
It would have been nice if they could resolve it at the pool and she took time to listen to what he was saying and be all these interactions is about being in the moment. You can't control people and who they're going to see, who they're going to go out with. You just got to make when they're with you that it's the best and the last experience. So every time they go to a different experience with another woman or another man,
they're comparing that experience.
They're going to be thinking about
and you're not comparing. And that's the thing I think that you like you're saying that what's doing a lot of these folks in is that they are when they're with the person that they're pursuing, they are bringing up the other person and comparing, and the other person should, you know, if I'm pursuing you, I don't need to talk about any other guy, but I want to make it so that as we're talking, when you go with the other guy, you're like, well, no, he don't talk to me the way Kevin talks, right? He don't move me, right? So that should be the goal and the focus. Phil and Zadia meet. And Phil is basically like, so tell me about this date.
Yeah, like I want to hear from your perspective what went down. Like maybe he said something he didn't mention in that made you flip out. And she was like, I did what I did.
She was like, I kept pushing.
I kept pushing on the gas and I didn't put on no brake. Maybe I could have done better.
And
like, I don't need you to preach to me.
He didn't, you know, again, like, Dante didn't say anything in as far as what we saw. He didn't say anything that basically was not true.
Right. He didn't say anything demeaning like, oh my God, I can't believe she was
But of
Crazy.
course, her insecurity caused her to, she did make the statement, and I'm sure he told y'all I was crazy and I was this and I was that. No, he didn't, baby girl.
He didn't say it.
He didn't say all of that. He just told point blank what happened. And yes, it was aggressive. Yes, it was out of pocket.
It was out of pocket.
But you're the one that acted that way, right?
And she makes it out like he didn't have any feelings or care for her at all. And he was just saying, I did, but you locked me out.
Yep.
And it's like that went over her head.
Over her head.
Nope. See, you were playing games. And I'm like, girl, I don't know who hurt you, who messed you over. But I'm like, you are living through lenses of previous relationships and not looking at this as a fresh start to find love.
Yeah. And she also made a statement that, did you catch it? She made a statement that she gave him a black mama talking to.
Right.
That's part of the problem too.
Well, you think trying to mother a man?
I think if I'm telling you that if I'm talking to, if she's talking to Phil, who's has no vested interest one way or the other, right?
Right.
But she's telling him that she gave Dante a black mama talking to. So then my question is, why do you feel that you need to give him a black mama talking to and not a black woman who you're dating talking to? So that's, again, her putting people below her or in a position lower than her. So that's until she gets healing in that area or gets whatever, or finds somebody who is going to, they're just as toxic and want to feed into that toxicity.
Right.
She's going to continue to go through these cycles.
Right.
So yeah, needless to say, she is not ready for love.
She is not ready for love.
Which then prompts Nye to meet with Tommy. And Nye is like, yeah, I'm going to self-eliminate. There's no one else for me here. And he does acknowledge, yeah, it was kind of a red flag. It's something that probably was not the best thing. And Tommy brings out a great point. He's also like, look, if she's that emotional, that aggressive, that to that point over Dante, where were you really in that scenario?
Right. Were you? Because then why are you sweating it? Why you care?
Right.
To the point where you're going to act like that. That's why you want to find clarity. Like, what can I do better? I think we always learn from people. When you go on a date and they don't date you again, if they're willing to really talk about, like, well, why did you decide that you didn't? Was it me or something I said?
Right.
So you can self-evaluate. If they're like, no, it's just me. I only like certain type of women, whatever. I only like a certain type of man, whatever.
Yeah.
At least you will know what you gain out. Well, you asked too many questions, or, this was awkward, whatever. Or the chemistry wasn't there. But, I mean, there's always something you can learn.
Absolutely. So that's it for this one. Now, the next trailer.
Yes, we are meeting family.
Well, yeah, they're supposed to meet with family. Mumin's family seems to be a little more traditional African. I'm not sure, which part of the continent.
Right.
But then there's something there. Let us know what you're thinking, because when Shiloh and Phil are sitting there talking to Tommy.
Oh yeah. Oh, look at this.
Yeah.
Why are we meeting and she's feeling like Phil has portrayed something?
Right.
And that you need to go talk to Tommy. I really want to know what happened.
Right. Something shifted, something took place where it seems like there's a major violation of trust. Is what the impression is, right? And so that's why it's like, are they sleeping together? And then, she's like, look, there's a whole issue with that. We don't know. Our speculation. Let us know in the comments what you thought. Because again, we're getting close to the end. We're things are kind of really starting to cement and become solidified. And then of course we know the reunion special is going to be bonkers.
Yeah, I might have to find out what kind of appetizers I want.
Oh, we're gonna do a like a watch party.
Okay. Need some type of appetizer.
All right, so listen, that's it for this one. We will see you next time. Have a great one. Be blessed. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like, share, And we will see you in the comments. Have a good one.